The Galactic Council's emergency beacon pierced through hyperspace like a scream. Across 1,000 worlds. The message was clear. Queen Zarathix of the Venthari Empire was dying, and with her, any hope of peace in the disputed sectors. Emma Torres pushed her maintenance cart down the sterile corridors of Medical Station Olympus. Her worn boots squeaking against the polished floor. She'd been cleaning these halls for 3 years now, invisible to the parade of diplomats, doctors, and dignitaries that rushed past her, just another human doing the jobs nobody else wanted. "Move aside, custodian," a Kralix physician barked, his forearms clutching data tablets as he swept past. Emma pressed herself against the wall, watching as the latest group of specialists emerged from the Queen's isolation chamber. Their expressions told the story. Another failure. The greatest medical minds in the galaxy had been working for 2 weeks, and Queen Zarathix was still dying. "It's impossible," she overheard a Thexian doctor muttering. "Every treatment we apply accelerates the degradation. It's as if her biology is rejecting existence itself." Emma continued her rounds, but her mind wandered. She'd read about the Venthari in her tablet during breaks, a silicon-based species that thrived in high-radiation environments. Their queen had ruled for 3 centuries, holding together a fractious empire through sheer force of will. Without her, the border wars would reignite, and millions would die. Near the end of her shift, Emma found herself outside the observation window of the Queen's chamber. Inside, the crystalline form of Zarathix lay on a specialized bed, her once brilliant facets now clouded and dark. Monitoring equipment surrounded her, displaying readings Emma couldn't fully understand but recognized as critical. Beautiful, isn't she? Even dying. Emma turned to find Elijah Chen, one of the station's bioengineers, standing beside her. She'd seen him around, always polite, unlike most of the research staff who looked through her as if she were furniture. "Sad," Emma replied. "All this technology, all these brilliant minds, and nobody can help her." Elijah nodded grimly. "They're treating her like she's sick. Running antibiotics, antivirals, cellular regeneration therapy. Nothing works because they're missing something fundamental." "What do you mean?" He glanced around, then lowered his voice. "I'm not supposed to talk about it, but I've been studying the data. The Queen isn't sick, she's starving. Her people evolved in radiation-rich environments. Their biology requires certain isotopes to function. This station, built to accommodate carbon-based life, is too clean. Too safe." Emma's eyes widened. "So she's dying because the environment is too healthy?" "Exactly. But I can't get anyone to listen. I'm just a junior engineer. The senior physicians think they know better." Frustration edged his words. Emma stared at the dying Queen, then at her maintenance cart. An idea sparked. The old reactor core in Section 7, the one they decommissioned last year. "It still has residual radiation, right?" Elijah blinked. "Yes, but it's sealed off. Technically hazardous to most species." His eyes suddenly widened. "Emma, what are you thinking?" "I'm thinking I have access to every section of this station, including places marked condemned for hazmat concerns." She pulled out her security clearance card, the all-access badge given to maintenance workers. "And I'm thinking that if I happen to collect some contaminated coolant from that reactor during my routine inspection, they'd never let us into the Queen's chamber," Elijah said, but his mind was clearly racing. "Security is too tight." Emma smiled slightly. "Security watches for threats. Nobody watches the janitor changing the air filters." An hour later, Emma pushed her cart toward the Queen's isolation chamber, her heart hammering. Hidden beneath cleaning supplies was a sealed container holding reactor coolant, material that would be deadly to her but might save a silicon-based life. The guards barely glanced at her. "Routine maintenance," she said, showing her clearance. They waved her through. Inside, the chamber was dimmer than she'd expected. Queen Zarathix lay motionless, her crystalline body barely reflecting light. The monitors beeped steadily, marking the slow countdown to death. Emma's hands shook as she opened the container. The radiation detector on the wall began chirping warnings, but she worked quickly, pouring the coolant into the environmental system's intake valve. Within seconds, the contaminated material began cycling through the chamber's atmosphere. "What are you doing?" A Venthari attendant materialized from the shadows, his faceted face blazing with alarm. "Saving her," Emma said simply. Before security could respond, a sound filled the chamber like wind chimes in a storm. Queen Zarathix was moving. The clouded facets of her body began to clear, light dancing within her crystalline form. The monitors showed her vital signs strengthening, climbing from critical levels toward stability. The attendant froze, then dropped to his knees in reverence. The Queen. She recovers. Within hours, the station was in controlled chaos. Elijah had stepped forward to explain the science, taking full responsibility, but Queen Zarathix herself intervened. Recovered enough to speak, she demanded to know who had saved her. When they brought Emma before her, the Queen's voice resonated like crystal bells. "You are the one? The custodian?" Emma nodded, suddenly aware of how insignificant she must seem. "The greatest minds in the galaxy could not see what you saw," the Queen continued. "They looked at me as a problem to solve. You looked at me as a being to understand." Her faceted eyes seemed to hold entire galaxies. "What do you wish as reward?" Emma thought of the countless humans scattered across the galaxy, doing the invisible work that kept civilization running. "Respect," she said quietly, "for all those who serve without recognition." Queen Zarathix's laughter sounded like singing crystals. "You have saved more than one life, Emma Torres. You have saved millions who would have died in war. This the galaxy will remember." As Emma left the chamber, Elijah fell into step beside her. "You know they're calling you a hero?" She shook her head, glancing at her maintenance cart. "I'm just a janitor who paid attention. Sometimes that's all it takes." Behind them, Queen Zarathix stood fully restored, her crystalline form blazing with light, and peace settled across the disputed sectors like dawn after endless night.